Firstly, congratulations on a magnificent win by Swift Witness and a gallant run by Embracer last weekend. You've mentioned in the press that you feel the filly might be suited to sprint distances rather than the final two legs of the Princess Series here in Sydney. What can you tell us about both Swift Witness and Embracer's next steps?
Thanks, Emma. Fabulous weekend for the team. Everyone's been working very hard over the winter to prepare these early carnival horses, so great to see their efforts really shown on the track. Swift Witness, she was excellent. I do feel she's got another sprint race at the 1200 metres that she'll be very effective at. I do feel even against their own age and sex, we can stretch her out in trip and she can still be effective. She's a real sprinter miler sort of type of horse, so I don't see there being much concern stretching out to the 1400 metres or the 1600 metres in time. I think she's certainly got the class to do so. Embracer was excellent. I thought he was very brave. He certainly gave them something to chase and looks to well and truly be back to his best. We'll just space his runs, keep him fresh. We may look at stretching him out slightly in distance, although I do feel 1200 metres is probably his best trip, but we'll decide on that in the coming weeks.
This weekend at Kembla, In the Congo is second up in the Group 3 San Domenico for the Newgate Farms Syndicate against some headline acts. How has this colt done over the past 3 weeks?
The colt's in excellent order. He's really going to the races in such good form and condition. Really happy with him. Looking forward to seeing him contest that race. No doubt he's bumping into some talented colts and he's going to have to be well and truly at the top of his game and run a career peak. But I do feel we've got the advantage of having had that first up run plus a winter campaign. So on what's going to be a testing track, he's certainly bringing an amount of residual fitness to the races, which will certainly help his cause. He was a bit unlucky there first up, so be very forgiving of that run, but I still thought he was very brave on that particular occasion.
The provincial meeting on Saturday is being held at Goulburn, and you've nominated Another Think Comin there, as well as the following day at Wyong.
Just hoping to see some drying conditions for Another Think Coming, which I felt was the reason for a disappointing run there last start at Goulburn. Unfortunately, judging by the weather this week, we may not get that, so we may have to look at a different goal for him. No doubt his form is much better on top of the ground, so we'll just have to assess the conditions with him because he's certainly going well enough to be winning a race.
In the 3-year-old maiden at Goulburn, you have both State Capital and Emerald Bay for Sun Stud, who have been knocking on the door for a win. Do you see them both heading there?
State Capital is another one we're just going to have to monitor the conditions. His last start was a disappointing run in the heavy going. So if it's a rain-affected track, we most likely will have to look at a different race for him. Emerald Bay, she was excellent first up at Muswellbrook. She's really trained on for that run. Looks excellent in her condition, and she seems versatile enough in the conditions as well. I thought that at a distance for her is only going to be an advantage. Certainly one to follow for a second up.
On Sunday at Wyong, ALUMNA and Princess AMIRA have been nominated for the Fillies and Mares Benchmark 68 over a mile, and Princess AMIRA also holds a nomination at Gosford on Friday. How have they both been training since their last starts?
I'd be forgiving of Princess AMIRA. Disappointing last run. She may have just found the step up to the mile, second up, just a step too far too soon. She did a little bit of work in the run and consequently just tied in the running. So she can bounce back and now third up at the mile. She's a bit more seasoned for that. ALUMNA's coming off a good couple of runs in the Metropolitan grade. She's just got a little bit out of her ground, but certainly worked home strongly. The run over the 1800 metres, she just didn't quite see out that trip last start, so she's dropping back to the mile and should be able to run that out strongly.
Guri Park Stud's Perfect Radiance won in tremendous style last time at her first try over 80 and 50 metres. She heads to the Wyong Cup Prelude and steps up to the 2100 metres there.
I know she won at big odds there last start, but I certainly don't feel it's just a one-off win. She's training in great order at present. It was interesting, she was stepped up in trip for the first time, and that may well just be the key to her. She seems to hopefully excel over ground, so stepping up in trip should be a positive for her on Sunday. I thought she's been training particularly well, and hopefully she can make it back-to-back wins for us.
Down in Victoria, one horse in particular is absolutely thriving. Social Element has a new lease of life and steps out in the $350,000 Grand National steeplechase on Sunday.
I couldn't think of a better way to round out the weekend than watching Social Element do what he loves in the Grand National steeplechase. It's a pleasure to watch. He's a pleasure to train, and hopefully we can get a similar result for him because he's in great form at present. He's been really happy in between runs. He's improving every time he steps out. He's racing with a lot of confidence. So really looking forward to seeing him take his place.